Well, yesterday, more than 30 states filed an antitrust suit against Google on Thursday yesterday, demanding a breakup of the search giant, accusing it of abusing its control over online search to squeeze out competition. It's the third major antitrust complaint against Google since late October. Okay, how does that affect you and me? Standing by to weigh in on that is somebody who knows. He is Chief Marketing Officer with Agency Partner Interactive, a digital marketing firm. And Adam Rizzieri has been on this show many times before and has brought clarity to complex issues just like this. So, Adam Rizzieri, how are you on this glorious Friday?
Good morning, sir. Staying warm, doing great, and wishing you all very well, and season's greetings from the Agency Partner team.
Yes. Merry Christmas to you. Now, let's talk about this. Google is under siege. 30 states filing an antitrust suit against Google. What is Google doing that's wrong?
Man, so many things. You know, this is a company that basically had a mantra of do no evil, right? And now for Christmas, they're getting not just coal, but they're getting this three-peat of antitrust suits that taste worse and last longer than coal, right? It's just they're basically getting themselves on the naughty list here because of really, I think, different styles of anti-competitive behavior. This is a company that's been operating under incredibly antiquated antitrust laws that basically are over 100 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you could point to what Google's been doing so wrong to get them on this government naughty list, anti-competitive behavior, using their behavior and their relationships and just all of their power to stifle competition, to engage in business deals that are sweetheart deals that they're only getting because they are Google and because they are so powerful, deals that other companies would never in a million years be quite so lucky to find on the counter signature block of the table.
Right.
In addition to that, Google just has kind of evolved as a company. It's created so much value that it's evolved in such a way that it controls so much. And as we look at emerging markets, including smart speakers and connected vehicles and just smart homes, Google also now is moving towards that world. So Google really has just kind of found a way to get its tentacles in every little bit of awesome that we have in our just average daily lives.
Right.
And so when they control the search market in such a strong way, when they control business deal-making in such a strong way, all of a sudden you find yourself at the wrong end of a lawsuit, or a series of lawsuits now with incredibly bipartisan support and from almost every state in the country.
Okay. Google is, its parent company is Alphabet, correct?
It is Alphabet.
Alphabet.
Yes.
Where is Alphabet based?
It's a California company. Mm-hmm. You know, Alphabet is a California company, just like Google. But of course, they operate, internationally, right?
Yeah.
The thing that I think is really, raising eyes is the fact that it's not only leveraging its tools and some of the awesome products that they offer the market, but it leverages user data and it leverages business data to really kind of dictate how smaller businesses are going to, frankly, survive by leveraging their products. So you have companies like Hotels.com, which is based here in Dallas. You have companies like Angie's List. These are companies that rely on a very strong digital marketing effort. They rely on the online presence, right? And so when you have Google now basically giving preference towards those companies that are either in their good graces, mostly because they're paying for those good graces, but when you have Google ultimately making decisions that strongly impact the ability of another large or small company to exist, you're going to start raising some eyes and obviously getting some attention from the regulators.
Sure. Google, Alphabet, has cannons. Other companies that try to compete have slingshots. Google owns YouTube. It owns Nest. It owns Waze, the navigation system you may use when you're inside your car. And all along, as you're using these products, as you're making your life more convenient, Alphabet is collecting data on you and your habits and what you do. And I suppose, on a linear sense, that's okay. It's a company for what it is, but it also is, in my view, and I think it's been confirmed along the way, Adam. YouTube is a tremendous censoring mechanism. You cannot find things on YouTube that you go on there and you're looking for a video or you're looking for some information. Can't find it. You know what you can find on YouTube? You can find virtually every video that's ever been made that mocks President Trump. Don't go on YouTube and try to find a video that mocks the president of China. It doesn't exist. So you've got all of this power under one company, Alphabet, and yet you don't have a free and open market for ideas, or you certainly don't have an even footing for different values on places like YouTube. That's where the problem is.
Absolutely right. And you started this segment out sort of pointing to some of the data points that this company gathers. You know, speaking of, YouTube, it controls Android, Google Chrome, Waves, like you said, the G Suite, it controls Google Docs and Google Sheets. And then you throw the ad tech in that. And so you literally have this company that has so much ability to really just control everything. It's really crazy. But then also, too, when you take it a step further and realize that Google or Alphabet now is an international operation, really, you have to ask yourself, who are the people that are making decisions at this company? And, at the end of the day, being an international business, they're not all Americans, right? There are people that come from China that are affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party that influence decision-making. And if not influencing decisions, they are a part of the internal mechanisms that make YouTube and make Google function, right? So, that's, I think, where you start to get into some additional concerns around this entire really just reality that is the Google beast.
Well, that's it. And they can control what you see and what I see in terms of information. And whenever that happens, that's bad. If it's bad at the network television level, where they have a very defined bent onto what kind of news they want to deliver to us, well, okay, maybe I can find a different viewpoint, or I can find a more balanced viewpoint someplace else. But if I go online to search, my default is Google. Most mechanisms that you go on to search on the internet are Google or Google Chrome. They're not Alta Vista that went out the door years ago. Very few people use Safari anymore. There are a couple of other ones that have popped up along the way, like Dogpile. But basically, it's Google. And Alphabet, the company that owns it, had a market capitalization of $1 trillion as of July of this past summer, full year net income of $34.3 billion, revenue $1.69 billion during 2019. This is a company unrivaled by, I would say, and you might know better than I, this is a company that's unrivaled in its strength by almost 99% of the rest of the industry. We pick the industry, whatever industry it may be. This is the behemoth.
And also small countries too, right? Just by the sheer financials of the company, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really crazy, Ken. And so, let's just say, it drinks on Google, right? But the point of online search, though, is to give the most authoritative, credible source the one position, right? The number one spot. And one person who screams credibility is Alan Dershowitz, a 50-year Harvard law professor, a guy that is very he's done things on the left and the right. He's a fairly bipartisan guy. This incredible legal thought leader. He's even been on YouTube now, and actually he's in a position to be censored, right? His content is potentially being blocked. So if you have some engineer at Google trying to say that this thought leader who's been a Harvard law professor for 50 years and who has represented presidents both on the left and the right, you're trying to say this guy's not the authority on the topics that he's talking about? It makes no sense at all.
Right. So Adam, okay, we know what the problem is. We know 3/5 of the United States has filed an antitrust suit against Google. This will go, obviously, all the way up the courts. I would be shocked if the Supreme Court doesn't take it. Well, what's the end game here? What do these states want? And how does Google get put back in its place?
Yeah, it's not going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. It's going to take forever to iron this thing out. But you're going to have first of all, you're going to have all three of these antitrust lawsuits be consolidated by the courts. That could happen in any time between today and next week is kind of the expectation. But you'll have these lawsuits be consolidated, and then from there you'll see sort of this battle take place where it's a decision of, how do we change the actual policies of business? How do we change the way they actually compete when it comes to mergers and acquisitions, when it comes to edging out competition? But then also, do we dismantle the the parts to Mr. Potato Head here. Do we take away Wave, make that a separate business entity? Do we take away Nest? Do we take away the ad tech? All of that. Now, the thing I think that nobody's really talking about yet, and we saw Facebook get knocked down last week, Amazon's next. Amazon is really next in this conversation, and I'm surprised they haven't been named in a lawsuit yet. But I would, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say it's coming next.
Yeah,
expect this to play out over several years, though, because they don't want to harm the consumer.
Yeah, it will, and this is what happens when time isn't put on task and eyes are not put on business, and this is what happens. Alphabet, very slowly, since about 2008, has been acquiring these companies, and with these companies, they bring with them their own prejudices, and they bring with them their own liability, and they bring with them what actually you and I can do as consumers, and they also collect a lot of data on us. It's I say this a lot, Adam. Every time you think it's cute to talk to Alexa and tell her to do something, Alexa isn't just, some mindless piece of chip inside that dot that you're talking to. It's going somewhere. It's going back somewhere, and it will be used to build a profile of you. Same way with your TV set. You talk to your TV set, the tuner. Turn on this channel. Okay, what do you think happens with that? It doesn't just go away. It doesn't go into the television set. It's going back somewhere. These companies are collecting information on you, and they're not giving you an even playing ground. And I think that's where the problem is.
You're exactly right. You mentioned Google's been buying up companies. They've purchased over 260 companies over the last 20 years. That's a ton of information that you're purchasing. And then you're also collecting all this information in real time. And, the purpose of collecting that information is to make online marketing really more relevant to the consumer. But, when you start to realize that you have conversations that are taking place on these platforms, and it's not just about advertising, but it's also about really controlling the narrative of the country, and then you get state actors involved in the company as well, right? Then you start to have a real concern and realizing that, it's not just about business anymore. There's also going to be something else that comes to play here, and it could influence really the trajectory of a country. And we've seen that internationally already with Facebook and Myanmar.
Yep. Adam Rizzieri, Chief Marketing Officer, Agency Partner Interactive. It's always great having you on this show, Adam, because you bring clarity to difficult things, and that's the best thing anybody can do in this business. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, and you stay well, and have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.